Hello and welcome to another episode of Beer Man's Noble Beer Reviews. Today I have another beer from High Branch Brewing Company out of Concord, North Carolina. This beer is called Nefarious, which doesn't say on there. It's actually there on the back. That's the label right there. It is a barrel-aged dark sour with blackberries, plums, and figs. It says our dark sour base aged for over a year in oak before fermenting on blackberries, plums, and Turkish figs in stainless steel. And it is 5.8 ABV. I don't even know if they ever actually had this on tap, but if they did, I hadn't had this before, and I haven't had it in the bottle. So, and this has been this came out probably like 8 months ago or something. So it's been out for a little while. I just hadn't got a chance to open it up. So now I'm just going through the cellar while I'm stuck at home. So I'm gonna crack this open and see what we got. So it's interesting. It pours a. It looks like if I saw this from afar, I would think it was brown, like a dark brown. But really, when I look like deep into it, it's actually like a really dark purple, which makes. I mean, it kind of looks like if you let like a purple, like a grape popsicle melt. It's kind of what it looks like, and which makes sense because of the blackberries. You know that blackberries give that color. And I guess plums really don't have that much of a pigment. I've had plum sours that really didn't turn it that dark. And figs I don't think will really do much either. So I'm guessing it's mainly dry from the blackberries. There was a white head that fizzled out really quickly. I'm sure you saw and heard that. So this definitely has more of the dark sour base character than, some of their golden sour beers, of course. Just a little tiny bit of that, like vinegary character that you would get from like a Flanders Red or an Ode Brune. But it is there's a lot of like red wine characters to it too. So I wonder. I'm guessing most of the lighter ones are probably in like white wine barrels or neutral. This really smells like red wine. It kind of has just that slight funky, like cheesy footy character that I get from like a Cabernet. Yeah, there's a lot of dark fruit to this for sure. Wow, that is fantastic. That is not what I was expecting at all. Wow. So with those three fruits, I absolutely thought that the blackberry was going to just dominate, and this is going to be pretty much like a blackberry sour. But that's really not what's going on here. The blackberry is there for sure, but there's definitely a lot of plum, and I do get like something that is like when I describe dark fruit in like a Belgian quad, I'm getting that out of this too, which I'm assuming is from the figs. But they all really kind of meld together with like that dark grape character that I was saying I was getting the aroma. It reminds me of like a carbonated Cabernet. But there is a little bit of like minerally sweet tarty character. I'll say I'm not. I don't want to say I'm not a big fan of them. I like them, but I usually like golden lighter sours way more than darker sours, Especially if something's listed as like a sour stout. A lot of times it's like a stout that got infected, and that's bullshit. I don't want any of that. But ones like true dark sours that are just have some darker grains to them, but they're not, they're not roasty. They just have some of that caramel malt, and then you use like the darker fruits with them. If they're done right, they're actually very. I think they're very very good. But the problem is a lot of them. For me, it seems like they're misses more than hits. But this is definitely a hit. So they did another dark sour more recently than this. I think it was for their anniversary, and it was listed as a dark sour with cherries. But I mean, the cherry character was so big they could have not said it was a dark sour and just said that it looked like that because of the cherries. But I think it was probably a similar base to this because I think all of their darker sours are kind of the same. They're different generations, but they're all the same kind of. Excuse me. They're inoculated with the same house stuff and a similar dark sour recipe, as far as I know. It's so funny too because, I said I was getting like a little bit of that vinegary character from like a Flanders, but I don't really get that in the flavor at all. I do get like the cheesiness that Flanders has, but to me, the more I drink it and think about it, I think that it's more something reminiscent of like a Cabernet than like a Flanders. Uh, yeah, it's still in the smell. It is, but it's not in the flavor at all. The the acidity level is perfect for this because it's definitely present, but it's not throat burning. It's it's not malty because some Flanders like they're so sweet and malty that like the acidity, even if it's slightly vinegary acidity, it just doesn't balance out the sweet maltiness, and it's just a weird thing. But that's not the case with this. This is all like fruits, fruits like red wine. There's a little bit of like toasted caramel malt underneath everything, but it's definitely not roasty, and it's not sweet either. But the acidity is held in check. Like I could drink this consistently I could drink a couple bottles of this probably. Or at least like a full 750, I think. There's also there's something in the back end too that is reminding me of some of like the very heavily fruited, like darker fruited Schramm's meads. It's kind of making me think of maybe it's something the combination of the fig and the blackberry is kind of making me think of black currants because those flavors kind of would be together really. If you mixed a fig and a blackberry, I guess it would kind of be like a black currant because black currants do have some of that like juicy character that blackberries have, but it's also kind of on like the more like I don't even know how to describe it, like fig date family too. Yeah, this is delicious. There's a little bit of like brown sugar in there too, but it's not like really adding sweetness. It's just the flavor of brown sugar. Um, Honestly, I'm trying to think of the last dark sour that I really really liked. It was one from Brewery Bavana, and this is really not similar to what that was. But that doesn't mean I would say this is just as good. It's just different. Uh, and now I'm just really curious if this, was using like first use red wine barrels, and that's why that Cabernet character is so strong, or if that's just a combination of these different fruits that are producing that with the oak like if it's virgin oak or several used oak. I don't know. I might actually ask TJ about it because this is absolutely delicious. And I don't know. I don't remember what I paid for this, but I know it was like less than $20. I think it was less than 15. These 500 mils of their sours are usually like 13 or $14, and 9 times out of 10 that is an absolute steal. And even if it's not a steal, I would say it's usually at least worth the money. It's just sometimes it's like like a crusher that's a steal. Other times it's just this is probably about worth it. So, but this is one that's a steal. I'd gladly pay up to $20 for this. I would say this is not. I don't think I've had anything that was that very similar to this from these guys. And I was even hesitant buying this without trying it just because it is a dark sour, but I'm so glad that I did now, and I'm so glad that I have another one left because this is fantastic. So I think that's all I got of this one. Please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think, and I look forward to doing the next one. Thanks.